Welcome back to the HGC. We are getting ready for game number 5. As
what are we
Zealots
getting ready for?
Team Liquid, we are getting ready for game number 5.
Wait, which series?
Team Liquid versus the Zealots. Okay, I see what you're doing now. I'm like, did I misspeak again? Like, what? Did I drop a Yahtzee? Like, what's going on? Like,
usually you catch up on these things a lot faster, so sorry, Mike.
Yes, we did not expect to go to game 5 in this series, but before we actually check it out, we actually go to game 5 in a lot of our series when it comes to Western Clash and the Eastern Clash. And speaking about the Western Clash, we got one coming at you soon.
Go in, they're down on 9 points on the core. Another crossfire. Monster is down. Is this real life? Is this really happening?
Yes, Caldor, this is real life. This is really happening. We're gonna have a Western Clash 2.
No, we're going to have game 5 between Liquid and the Zealots.
That too as well. Let's go to Battleground number 5 here and see what exactly is going to happen between these two teams. In our final map, give me Towers of Doom. Is it going to be? Yes, it is. Towers of Doom. A perfect way in the finale.
Definitely peaked.
I did not peak, dude.
Yeah, you did.
I did not
Of course you did.
Scout's Honor, dude. What is it? Scout's Honor, man.
I have no clue.
Oh, yeah. Do you have Boy Scouts in Germany? Is that a thing?
Not really.
Okay.
Like
Scout's Honor.
I think there's something like this, Pfadfinder. That's what we have.
It's 3 fingers. I wasn't a scout.
But it's like I don't think it's a big deal.
All right.
It's not a big thing.
Well, Towers of Doom is coming
It's
at
like
you guys.
American football. They try to import it over, but it doesn't really connect. So.
One day it will, though. I watched regular football.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty exciting.
Grand finalists are coming up.
They mic up the atmosphere really well.
Yeah, they do.
That they do. They do.
It's pretty, especially like, of course, when you're looking at a World Cup. I mean, it's absolutely crazy what kind of atmosphere you have. So you have definitely the audience there. So it's pretty nice.
Well, the atmosphere is electric here, as we said. Game number 5. Somehow, some way, the Zealots, who have had a rough time so far in these first couple of weeks, are turning the series around.
No matter how this ends, kudos to the Zealots. Definitely improved a lot. Might not quite be there yet, we're going to find out, but the fact alone that they're bringing Team Liquid to game number 5 is actually impressive and something that is noteworthy here. Abathur banned out on the big map, first pick, first ban on the side of the Zealots, and again the question, are we going to see them focus that front line again? Do they go for an attempt at securing the combo for themselves? Are we going to see Robot Oba on Diablo, on Garrosh? Are we going to see Blaze again? That's the big question right now, because that setup looked so much stronger for them than any kind of Murden plays that they've been trying to execute so far in Phase 2, where they just don't find the engages the same way.
Zealots are thinking about it as their first pick. Man, I'm curious to see what they're going to move into. Will they stick with it?
I'm impressed. Taking 2 maps of Liquid, no matter how this series ends, is already important. That's a big deal. And of course, other teams within the top 4 are also pretty excited right now, because if your opponents are in a rough spot and have a rough time taking these matches, that's always great for you. The map score matters a lot. So for Liquid, losing 2 maps here is actually a bit of a problem, because this is a series that they were supposed to dominate. They were supposed to take this with a 3-0 or a 3-1.
I feel like Team Liquid really needs to disrupt this now. They maybe taking away the Blaze is the answer, maybe taking the Kane, something to really change this, because that's always been the MO of Zealots. We may have a couple of new players in here for the roster, right? But even in the past, we had them run Tyrael with Blaze back in the day. Remember, they ran that over and over. Hanzo, the Tracer. They are willing to run the same composition all day, every day, because they'll earn the win. So disrupt it quickly. As you keep mentioning, I think Team Liquid has to do it right now, or I might even just throw the game over to Zealots the moment I see that Blaze get locked in.
But that's the question right now. Do you actually like pick Blaze this early?
Yeah.
Just to pick it away? In the one of the first 2 rotations here? We have seen, of course, the priority in the past, but ever since now Urel came in and contest that spot on the solo lane, and also the cooldown on Bunker has been increased, that hasn't really been a thing anymore.
Kane and Blaze, they do it.
They do it, they take it away. I mean, I like it. It's just really surprising for me that they're willing to go that far. but it just shows how much they really respect that setup.
Sometimes you have to get hit twice before you dodge the third hit, you know? That's kind of what happened in these last couple matches.
We talk a lot about how you need to be flexible within the draft and you need to be able to adjust to your opponent what they play, and that's exactly what they do. I could have seen them letting Deckard go, not really going for Blaze and Deckard, the two of them, but one of them I feel was really important, and I would agree with you that the priority on Blaze over Deckard Cain, taking that away, is important. I just want to see what the Zealots now do to react to it, because now do they still fall back on URL?
Sure.
Is that something that they're aiming for? Or are we going to see a completely different offlaner here and URL disregarded in this entire setup?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a Phoenix Malf here for the second and third. Stay with the idea of having your control fights.
I agree. I think that would be a great start for them. Phoenix is a lockdown. I mean, this is the obvious two picks, I feel, going for those two. Having Phoenix in the combo with Diablo has been a huge staple. You have Malfurion because Deckard Cain is taking away from you. You know that very, very likely Malfurion is banned out if you don't take him here. So unless you already have a plan of going into any kind of burst healer with a panic button, you would move into that. But it still leaves the question open, what's a solo lane pick for Zarmony?
Team Liquid can think about banning out the solo lanes. Maybe try to target him a little bit here, if they feel like that would be a nice focus for them. I will be honest, as Urel's been a little bit more aggressive than I think they would like here. They've controlled him really well, so maybe letting that through could be a benefit for them. Instead, maybe you can look towards looking at bans here for Quitenix.
And you can still also go into Thrall, by the way, if you're the Zealots. We've seen that in the combo with Diablo, and you have then all of a sudden Phoenix, Diablo, and Thrall with it. You have a bit more poke also. Genji banned out first. I mean, it's still Quackix on the other side, so you know that he would like to play that here if he can. Phoenix very likely in the hands of Chris again. What's the ban for the Zealots, though? Team Liquid, they can still target the front line.
Yeah.
A solid ban for... Yeah, exactly. Muradin, for example, would be a solid ban. Then the question is, how much of a problem could Garrosh be for you if you play with Diablo? Is that actually an issue that concerns you? Or are you willing to fight that battle? Because the engage is going to be a bit rougher for Robadoba if he goes into deep.
I do feel like Deckard Cain and Blaze come in here for that 1-2 does lower that damage potential, so Diablo should be able to handle Garrosh a little bit better if he does get tossed, right? You won't get blown up so heavily. Like, if there was a potential for a Karazhan to still be picked up, definitely something to worry about. I think the Muradin is way worth here as a ban, and you just kind of let them decide on what tank they want to go into.
Yeah.
Because Phoenix versus Muradin is such a chore to deal with. Muradin will sit on your face all day, and if he lands that Stormbolt in the middle of your teleport, you're done.
And also, yeah, of course, the follow-up of Deckard Cain, Blaze even with the Jet Propulsion. But it's Hammer that they're more worried about. Granted, not a bad ban either. But now, I feel like the problem when you are going for a ban against Blaze is that, against Muradin, is that there's so many good tanks still out there that it's rough to say, okay, are they actually going to be even affected by it? So I feel that Zealots were more looking towards what's the X factor here that could really ruin this for us. And they decided that Hammer is going to be the pick. And to be honest, once that Hammer, especially when she hits level 16 and gets Giant Killer against Diablo, you are in trouble.
Hanzo and Thrall.
They take Thrall away, so Thrall, good for the solo lane for them.
Wait.
Actually, they have Blaze and Thrall, so they're going to play a very melee-heavy setup right now and can rotate it over. But that also takes Thrall now away from a potential Diablo's combo.
Is it going to be Thrall in the 4-man? It has to be, right? Like, they're not going to run a tank Blaze.
No, it should be Thrall in the 4-man.
Okay. Still can finish the Echo of the Elements. Alright. But they take away the Earthquake from Phoenix and the Diablo. That would have been pretty terrifying. Diablo, Phoenix, Thrall, Earthquake.
That makes them very, very melee heavy though, so do you head into Leoric instead? Is that the setup that you're gonna go for? You take Leoric together with Diablo?
Sure.
Or...
I know I keep talking about Malthael, but I see that and I want Malthael to be played.
The thing is, Malthael is really not a huge consideration in Europe. We've seen him for the Fnatic a little bit, but not all that much. Still, the Haka is also out there, but I like that they go for Leoric, and we have now Falstad for the global. So yeah, the Haka would have been another option, but with the melee-heavy setup that Team Liquid is running, I like that they're going into Leoric here. He also has the easy double soak that we can get from them, and on top of that they use the global on Falstad, which also gives them great disengage. So when you have Earthquake being set up, for example, you can simply gust, retreat, take it easy from there on out. I'm still impressed that we're here in the first place. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
They're thinking about it for their 5th pick here. Murden's still that easy shoe-in. Still strong for the reasons that we mentioned earlier. Are there any other tanks? What a Nubrak?
You know, to me, this game is again one of another proof. We had this in week 1, in week 2, and now we have it in week 3, where you look at certain games and you think, okay, that should actually be a pretty clean victory. And every time it's the complete opposite. We had so many games that went down to the wire where we have the 5th map coming in, where we have a turnaround or all of a sudden teams stepping it up and just performing way better than expected and making the series insanely exciting. And that's the same here today. Team Liquid comes in with a great start into phase 2. Zealots with the exact opposite, just finding no ground, and it's nothing what we expected. The early O2, we were like, okay.
Yep.
It's Liquid. Liquid is doing well right now. Zealots are struggling. Maybe in a week. Maybe in 2 weeks, Zealots are going to do a bit better. And then all of a sudden, adjusting the drafts a little bit, changing the way that they play, and the Zealots are starting to say, hey, listen, we can actually make that work. The team coordination is all of a sudden better. We are in a spot where we're coordinating our abilities better. And if we're putting Roba, Doba, and Zarmany on different frontliners, then we get these engagers that we're missing in the first 2 maps. And they create kill opportunities, and they bring us to game 5. To an extent where Liquid acknowledges that this Diablo and Blaze setup is just too difficult for them to deal with, that Zealots are too powerful with it, and take it away from them. The big question just remains, is what the Zealots have right now able to do the same thing?
And will the coordination be disrupted based on what Team Liquid did here in the draft? So let's go into it. Game number 5. The final one here, the big one. Who will walk away victorious? Team Liquid or Team Zealots?
That was an interesting transition. The black screen as we're heading into Towers of Doom. And this time, we're not introducing the players. We have Sportbilly on Muradin, Arcana on Hanzo, Hazobs on Thrall, Nurok on Deckard Cain, and Eternal playing Blaze.
On the right side in the red, Chris playing Phoenix, Robodoba on Diablo, Quatnix on Falstad, Azarmony on Leoric, and last but not least, Shad to play Malfurion.
Season Marksman build for Falstad, so no shenanigans on that part. Austin's renewal for Leoric ever since the mid-season brawl, the standard. Korea played with that talent for a long time, but within Europe we had different approaches to Leoric's build, with Consume Vitality taken on level 1, but the mid-season brawl changed that. Hulk here in the middle, Zarmany, getting a bit of damage pushed onto him, but so far surviving. And also when we're talking about talent adjustments, Muradin is of course a constant hero to talk about. We have a lot of perfect storms taken, third wind too, but in this case, Muradin opting for his block talent on level 1. So trying to play around that and dodging a couple of these auto attacks.
Especially from Falstad. Robodoba in the bottom lane though. Taken out as Team Liquid sets up a trap, even with a spray paint coming out.
Yeah, good kill here. Pretty early one too. And again, the power of CC chains. Stormbolt into roots, and then the follow-up. You have also the Wolf, of course, of Thrall to set that up even more. And that's something that they need to be careful about. I mean, later on, it's going to be a bit easier for Robodoba to just sustain himself through all of this. First of all, through Diablo self-sustain, but also the hit point pool alone with the continuous stack of the souls is going to be super important for him. But right now, this is one of the things that Team Liquid is going to continuously try and do here throughout this game. So Robodoba needs to be careful. He has no bunker to fall back on this time.
Sappers pushing for both of our teams. Falstad in the middle, as Thrall and Muradin will help push him out a little bit. The Muradin coming in for a flank though. Team Liquid hoping to maybe get a little bit more damage on these stacks they're going for. 4 for the Stormbolts, 9 here for the Scatter Arrow quest. He connects it, but it's mostly a bit of a trade here between Sappers. Should be able to get cleared up. Hang on, actually. Thrall's coming in, too. Chris gets locked down. There's the root. There's the damage. Chris trying to teleport out, and they'll get away.
Yeah, good job. And Hazob's nearly pushed into tower range. Robodoba attempting to make that play there, but Thrall moving outside of the range just in the nick of time. So well done by him. Liquid with level 4 already. Zealots definitely under pressure here early on. They're still looking to see if they can maybe create an opportunity too. Robodoba closing the distance here and attempting to get closing in. Not quite working out for them, but still with this situation where, especially later on around the global that we have for Quacknix, they can make a couple of macro plays here now as well. But Liquid in the early game, definitely dominant.
Moving into that level 4 talent here for Falstad, looking for those auto attacks, hammer gains. Tending to get the heal off of those auto attacks will be helpful, especially towards that late stage against these frontline tanks. kind of melee heavy, so he'll have to be careful not to get caught down and locked down, but that'll be great. Also giving him sustain in lane. Big triangle coming out once again here on the bottom lane as Diablo gets locked down. There's the Wolf afterwards, but Robodoba gonna be fine with Shad topping him off. Able to heal up and escape. 3 altered spawn. I want to know how False is going to handle this here. Having the global on your side, the Zealots will look to try and find a number advantage somewhere.
Yeah, Robodoba needs to be really careful. It's just like that root follow-up from Deckard Cain and from Thrall. That's really a problem whenever he gets stunned out. So we're going to have the fight over the altar here. There's a bit of interrupt happening as the Zealots are trying to make sure that Team Liquid is not getting a double altar. But again, it's going to be difficult for them here early on. The top has been exchanged. It was an easy exchange at that. We have Leoric still pushing out the lane. Blaze should be able to follow up onto the top lane soon, because if not, they're going to lose out on experience there. Fawcett is keeping XP lead in the middle, but Liquid is definitely securing that position. Controlling the space, pushing them out, and that's going to be another 4 shots fight against the Zealots core.
Still hanging in there, Zealots. Experience pretty darn close as we head towards level 7. A little bit of a gank attempt on Fawcett here in the middle. Spoltboy jumps in. Immediate barrel roll out into a Wraith Walk. Should be fine, but here's the Thurnal. Zarmani might actually die here.
Zarmani canceled that a bit early, but he's still able to walk away from it. I mean, at this point, Zealots are really just trying to hit level 10. A lot of the synergy that they have just unfolds once that level 10s are available. Lightning Breath into the salvo from Phoenix is a really good example, but even when we're talking about Leoric, the Entomb can set up the place for them. Before that, it's going to be a bit difficult for them to really take big fights. If they can get a good engage, then maybe they can make something happen here. But it's definitely difficult against this setup that is threatening Robodoba whenever he starts to step up here.
Just for discussion here. Hang on, actually, as Chris gets rooted, Nature's Cure comes out. He'll be able to back up, put some damage into Robodoba and crew trying to deal with these sappers. We have a 4-on-4 here in the bottom lane. Stormbolt comes out. What? Zealots are trying to get Robodoba out. Gosh, he's getting locked down again. That Scroll of Sealing. As Billy gets tossed in. He takes some damage, actually, gets hit against the wall. We'll be able to hop out.
Yeah, nice move here against Billy. But Robodoba, as you said, it's so tricky for him because there's always, it's the same MO every single time. Stormbolt hits, and then either Thrall follows it up, and then the Scroll comes out, always seeing Horredric Cube slowing him as the Scroll of Sealing is completed. So that's a really nice chain that allows Hanzo to get the damage out, it allows everyone else to jump on him immediately, and it worries me a bit for the front line, especially when Thrall hits level 16. He already has Ancestral Wrath, and that can be a burst where it helps you to confirm a kill. But even when you have Alpha Wolf available, that does more damage and is even more scary. An exchange in altars would be absolutely okay for the Zealots here. Nobody's really contesting that. Both of them totally happy with this. This is definitely going to change. The dynamic is going to change a lot once that we have level 10. This is what the Zealots are waiting for.
That's always continuing to keep their attention towards the south. Want to keep Team Liquid in this area as well as they work towards that level 10. Not giving them advantage anywhere. Fawcett with that global able to separate in the middle. And the best part about Fawcett being here is he can fly down if he needs to, especially when 10 hits, or if he needs to save his teammate, he can rotate to the top lane. And he may have to do so soon, as Hanzo's working on the sappers already. Thanks to that scatter arrow build, he'll be able to clear that out by himself. All he needs is his Thurnal to buy him some time, and Thurnal did so by putting Zarmani back and clearing out that wave.
The problem for the Zealots is they don't really have a lot where they can react to that, or it's very difficult for them to make those plays. Now, they know that the camp has been taken at the top, so they also know where Hanzo is. They're trying to push out the mid lane first. They still need to rotate someone down soon to catch that final wave there. But it's level 10 that matters, and that's what both the teams are heading into now. Liquid is a little bit faster. Still expecting to see Earthquake here, but it could be a Sundering play, even if they feel that that helps them. And it's Earthquake. Stay a while and listen. No real surprises when it comes to rogue abilities. The salvo is in, Lightning Breath taken. We have Entomb also on the way. And now it's just a question of what Chat is going to head into. Do they really value that sustain so much that they go for Tranquility? Or are we going to see the Twilight Dream? Dream is taken. They go for Eternal. And just as the bunker comes down, the Dream is being used. It misses. And it ends up with a double kill against the Zealots.
Stormbolt comes out too. The salvo hitting for Chris, but not going to be able to get kills thanks to Decker popping out the heals. And you mentioned it, the Twilight Dream connecting, trying to stop Blaze from being able to use that bunker. Just a hair too late, and that means the fight is completely lost for Zealots. Had that connected, Team Liquid may have lost that fight.
Incredibly unfortunate for the Zealots. And from Team Liquid's perspective, of course, it couldn't have gone any better. The Twilight Dream didn't find the value, but if it's just half a second faster than it was, then that's a dead Blaze right there, and this fight looks completely different. But as it stands, Liquid is winning the fight. They take the 2 kills, and now they are not only ahead in experience, but they also have a massive lead when it comes to points on the core.
Robodoba moves in, trying to find someone to combo off of, but Team Liquid backs up, expecting that to come in. Sappers were the main clear that Team Liquid was trying to get on through, and they do get 1 forward, while Zealots group up as 4. And dance around. Now, a fly was used to actually head down to this bottom area, so False have to go a long way to get back to the middle. But that means Team Liquid, they can get aggressive here on the south, knowing that Fly is down.
Yeah, and of course they want level 13 too. So they have Falset in the middle. They know that Leoric is up to the top, so they're going to apply some pressure down to the bottom of the map, especially with, of course, the potions here already in place for Deckard. 100 souls now taken though, so this is the moment where you are as beefy as it gets on the side of Diablo. Here comes the Entomb, and that was not quite intended. Pushing Nurok out of the Entomb here.
He went through the Entomb.
That was interesting interaction.
Thrall with Earthquake, getting the Frost proc, actually staying alive, so he's healing up. Robodoba trying to find him with that vision. Oh, but to stay a while as it comes out from Nurok, he turns around, gets the sleep. At the same time, in the bottom left, Zarmany getting focused down as Arcaner is looking to clear that up. Another unfortunate thing here for the Zealots, Nurok falling through, prevented them from getting that kill.
Yeah, very elusive, Deckard Cain. He might be old, he might be slow, but he knows all the tricks.
He got soap suds in those potions, man.
Yeah, he does. He just wriggles through those windows somehow, and that could be another kill. Robodoba dies again. Team Liquid, Deckard survived in the last 5, and so did Thrall as he barely escaped, and Liquid gets the additional kills. That means level 13. Now they have the pressure on the map. They immediately move to the bot lane. They take the bell tower. They take 1 kill. They take 2. Phoenix goes down. That's 7 kills versus 0. A 2-level lead. And the Zealots are at risk of getting ruffle stomped on the 5th map.
Especially with that bottom fort being taken out, things will be difficult for them to take back. I mean, Falsa can't just sit there and auto-attack it the entire time. Team Liquid will be there to answer back, and Phoenix himself, with that short range, will have a hard time too. Team Liquid in a commanding lead, 32-15.
This is going to be tough to get back into. The Zealots, they need 13, and they're going to get it. I mean, once they have the 13, they have Giant Killer. That helps a bit. You have 26 stacks on your Season Marksman, so the damage output against those melee heroes is going to be much better. You can put more pressure onto Sport Billy, you can put more pressure onto Blaze and also Thrall. It's simply a question of, is that going to be enough? And that's the problem. So with another good Entomb from Zarmany, they might be able to pull it off, but it is going to be very, very difficult, especially given the dominance at the bottom lane that we're seeing from Team Liquid, where we now have 2 camps trying to push through towards the core.
Team Liquid being wary of this push, not overstepping at all. There is always a threat of an Entomb coming out, as you mentioned, but also a mighty gust. If Quack is able to get behind them and knock them into the kill zone, that is always a threat. So they don't pass where these sappers are currently at until they have eyes on Falstad. Diablo getting rooted here and taking some damage. The Team Liquid not going to overstep. You don't be thrown into that kill zone.
Yeah, Robodoba doesn't have a lot of hit points right now. He's sitting at 16 stacks on the souls. It's not too much here. Leoric, of course, still double soaking in the lanes. The problem is Blaze does the same thing, and Liquid is more than... They're 2 levels ahead now. So that means half a level until level 16. So in an ideal world, the Zealots would attempt to engage before that happens, but it's tricky to make that play. Quark Nix also putting under pressure by Eternal on Blaze and needs to barrel roll away here. Altars activating again, and that's 3 now. That could theoretically be game.
Yeah, to get all 3.
It's 32 points against 15 in favor of Team Liquid.
Thrall's in the bottom, and Zeal's doing everything they can here to hold this top right corner. They start the channel. Quack should be able to grab this. Leor coming over to try and buy some time. Eternal backs up. Thrall would be in the south side. It means that Zelt will have a 5v4 for a small window. So Team Liquid just needs to buy time and slow this down. They throw out the scroll just to make sure to buy said time.
Yeah, Liquid won 16, and we have 10 points in the core against 29. It's all about the top left now. Is Zealots actually going to give that up? There comes the arrow against Mouth, and Diablo is about to fall. Kept alive by Shed for a few more seconds, but Thrall confirms the kill. That's the front line gone. 8 kills against 0. Level 16 versus 14. The channel to the top left has been started, and Liquid is already aiming for boss. If they complete that, they would put the Zealots down to a single point on the core.
Looking to complete it, Zarmany comes in, using the Ominous Wraith, trying to buy some time, also to prevent that damage. Sport Billy turns around and jumps straight on top of Falstad. Quack, taking some damage, has to barrel away, but Zarmany all by himself, he gets picked off, especially with the Earthquake coming out. And Team Liquid now up 9 kills to 0, 29-1 in shots.
Absolutely shutting down the Zealots here. 29 shots against 1, 2-level lead. Tunnels are opening now, and they are going to take the camps as we speak. Team Liquid has... I mean, it's actually nearly impossible to lose this game at this point.
You say that.
We have seen crazy comebacks. I'm very well aware of that, but 1 point against 29 and a 2-level lead on the map?
Yeah.
Liquid would have to really screw up for Zealots to come back into that.
Well, they're making
Then
a
again,
play.
Zealots have a global, but they need to win a team fight, and they need to win it really soon. They're going to try and play this a bit safer, but one of these mercenary comes through, and it's GG.
Lightning Breath from me and User make sure to come through. Arrow comes out. Zarmi takes some damage on the front line, but able to escape back. Takes the Chad. Bunker coming out too, as well as stay a while and listen. They're trying to focus down Robodoba, but he's staying just up to find help.
Only one altar spawns, and it's at the bot lane. That's the worst lane for the Zealots. They're going to have a tough time getting to that altar in the first place, and they will have no retreat path. This is a nightmare from the Zealots, from start to finish. Especially that Deckard Kane escape around the Entomb was, of course, a huge problem there. There could have been a kill, the not confirmed kill against Blaze just before that, the one against Thrall. Everything is turning against Zealots here. They're trying to fight. Zarmany's on half health already. They're going for Muradin, but again, the Twilight Dream comes through as Avatar has already been used.
Mighty Gust used to stop the Altar from being grabbed, but Zarmany is low on health. Billy is as well. Chris in that front line trying to put some damage out, but Leework finally does fall. Robodoba by himself as he gets slowed while Nurok starts the channel. Can he get the last couple of shots? The answer is yes. They will siege down the shots on the core here of the Zealots, and Team Liquid will take the series 3-2.
Anticlimactic ending. 12 kills to 0 and a 3-2 victory for Team Liquid. Well played by them and very dominant, but also very, very unlucky for the Zealots.
Yeah.
2 Twilight Dreams that just barely did not connect in time to prevent the target from popping his defensive tools, and some very close encounters where they just couldn't confirm the kills. Zealots looking strong today, much stronger than in the past few weeks. Not quite on a level where they can take the victory off Team Liquid, but definitely in a position where they were able to take 2 maps, which is much more than most people expected.
Yep, the work is definitely paying off for them. Again, it did come down to a couple compositions. Them having that Blaze and Diablo is a composition that they are running well. So if they can find similar situations to be able to pull out that teamwork between Zarmany and Robodoba, I can see them getting some wins here in the future. But today, Team Liquid continues to stay undefeated, 4-0. Did you think going into week 3, Team Liquid would be in the spot?
Not quite. That being said, they had an easier start into it than other teams.
Sure.
But actually, it's not quite fair to say. They went up against Fnatic, they went up against Method, so they looked strong. I didn't expect them to be this dominant, no. But I'm happy that they are establishing themselves as a strong force within the top 4 again. I think that's pretty enjoyable and very nostalgic as well, reminiscent of the days of old, especially in the early stage of 2017 when HGC started. But yeah, it's a pleasant surprise for sure. But after today, you also have to ask yourself, okay, there's definitely room for improvement. I mean, Zealots taking 2 maps against them shouldn't have happened. For Liquid, it's still great that they take the series, but they lost 2 maps now against an opponent where they were supposed to take it with a 3-0, 3-1.
Okay.
So it's like a story from both sides. Fantastic from the Zealots. From Team Liquid's perspective, it's a great victory, but maps count for a lot, so still need to be careful.
Well, we have Nurok here from Team Liquid, so he'll discuss the big victory they have over the Zealots. Let's go ahead and check in with Nurok himself. There he is. Nurok, hello, buddy. Congratulations on your victory today, man. How are you feeling?
Hey, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm feeling good. Feeling really good.
Good to hear. I would actually want to ask you, taking the Zealots here, it seemed like they started to pick up steam in Game 3 and Game number 4. Do you think that was compositions they were getting the wins with, or was it them really pulling off the teamwork that they've been working on for the last couple weeks?
So after game 2, they changed up some stuff. They prioritized Diablo more, and they also got Blaze. Like, I think the first 2 games they had DRL, and we struggled a lot with the front line. Like Blaze, Diablo, it's very hard to break through. And it took us 2 games to identify the issue. And then in game 5, we changed it up, and we gave them the Diablo, but in return, we got the Blaze. And we felt very confident going into game 5 then. we took away the key parts, and yeah, I mean, game 5 was pretty clean, I would say.
Well, one more question before I send you over to Caldor. Blaze has been someone that's kind of fallen off a little bit for us here in Europe. With Urel being so dominant, we haven't seen much Blaze. Why do you think he fell off initially? Is it teams kind of forgetting about him a little bit, or is there some little hidden maneuvers that we're missing out on?
So I'm not an offlaner, but I will try to give my best insight on this. I think it's mostly because of YRL. Like teams were experimenting a lot with it, and YRL also wins the matchup.
Sure.
And Blaze got like slight nerfs, but I don't think the bunker nerf matters too much. Like as you see, Blaze is still really, really strong. It's just mostly the laning phase that there are more matchups for him, which can count him a bit. And Yarel actually, I think she dominates the lane super hard, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to send you over to Caldor. Thank you.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have a question, first of all, before about you personally. You made the switch into the support role, and I already talked to a couple of your teammates.
Yep.
Sorry. It's a nice picture of you, Tim.
Thank you.
We talked a bit with teammates about your switch, and I just want to know, first of all, how you feel in the new role, and also put that a bit in perspective from you in the past. You have been very vocal about not wanting to play the second support when double support was incredibly popular. You have been playing a lot of Tassadar for your team, but that was a role where you couldn't have as much of an impact. Now you're in the main support role. What do you think about that, and how much you can contribute in team fights?
I mean, there's a difference between the secondary support and the primary support. I just generally dislike double support compositions very much, and I didn't want to play the secondary support in those compositions. I mean, in general, I enjoy playing support actually very, very much, even in Hero League nowadays. And I like 90% of all my games are support games. And I feel actually by now very, very comfortable with the role. Like I can play pretty much any support already, I think, very, very comfortably. And yeah, I think we fit very well with our composition. Like Akena going to ranged and me swapping to support. I feel like as a team, we feel really good with it, I would say.
I mean, it obviously works out for you guys, but you also you also enjoy it as a support player right now, because originally the move was made out of necessity, right?
Necessity and also voluntary by me, because I felt like I could embrace a new challenge, and it would benefit the team if we did this change. Like I did it mostly for the team, yes, but like personally, I felt a bit, I don't know, like burned out from range DPS, I have to say. And embracing this new challenge kind of gave me new motivation. Like right now, I'm kind of breathing Heroes of the Storm. I'm playing it every day, like 12 hours, I would say. I'm streaming almost daily. In case you guys want to watch support gameplay, Twitch TV/Narok, you can check it out. Doing a shout out already for that.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend. I watched you a couple of times streaming. There's a lot of fun. One last question. What's your favorite support to play right now, where you have the most fun, and why?
That has to be Deckard Cain for me. Actually, the swap to support was a kind of perfect timing, because initially I thought Deckard Cain is like a really, really boring hero, and I was like, another support hero with a very boring kit. And then I realized, oh my god, this support is actually great. Like he has everything, and I hope Blizzard don't touch him. He is good. He's in a good spot. Like I'm serious. Playing Deckard Cain is such an enjoyment, because he has very, very playmaking abilities with his root combos, with his ultimates. Both his ultimates are viable. It's just situational. He has sustained healing. Like the only weakness he has is lockdown. Like he doesn't have cleanse, and he can get kind of Doven, but if you just drink the potions by yourself and you shield yourself, you might actually just live even with 5 people go on you. But I mean, yeah, I enjoy playing him a lot.
All right, awesome to hear. Thank you very much.
Narok, let me clarify this. You just said 5 people can dive you, and you might actually live, and you think the hero doesn't need to be changed?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. Last question before I let you go. On Sunday, you'll be facing off against Dignitas. There is a good chance they'll still be undefeated. They are facing Granite Gaming up next. But if they are still undefeated going into Sunday, it's you or, of course, them that's going to stay undefeated. Who will walk away with the victory?
So I think if we play very, very well and we go confident into the series, I think we can actually beat them. I think it is possible. Like, obviously, they are by far the best team in Europe, and there is a big gap between them and the other European teams still. But I think if we figure out the meta for the series and if we fix our issues, which we identified from today, like we will change up our drafts probably a bit, I think we can take the series.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it, Narok. Before I let you go, shout-outs, of course, to everyone that cheers for Team Liquid, as the floor is now yours.
So big shout out to Twitch chat. You guys are mostly great, I would say. Shout out to all the people who were cheering for us and supporting us. Shout out to our organization, Team Liquid. You guys are also very, very great. Our sponsors, HyperX, Ballistics, Alienware, also very, very good sponsors. Appreciate it very, very much. And also shout out to my team. We actually turned it around in a situation where it was necessary. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Nurok, and congratulations to Team Liquid as they get a big victory today over the Zealots, a 3-2. Team Liquid looking strong, and you'll be able to see more of them on Sunday as they'll be facing off against Dignitas. But Zealots themselves showing up. Good little fight series between these two.
I think for them it's a bit frustrating that they didn't take the series after bringing it to the 5th game. But then again, they took 2 maps from an opponent where everyone said, hey, this is going to be tough for them. And their game plan is always, we need to improve. And they've shown that today, if they can use that trajectory to just improve continuously towards the next games that they have to play, I think they are going to find themselves in a much better spot. You can really tell that it's just the lack of practice that they had at the beginning of the phase because Quacknix was still playing with Fnatic at the mid-season brawl. That was their biggest issue. But there's definitely a lot of potential in the team. They just have to make sure that they can use all of the potential in the future.
Well, we have another series coming your way, and we'll go ahead and check it out as soon as commercial break does conclude. Dignitas and Granite Gaming up next. Shad already positioned and ready to pop up that Dragon Queen with Curse Bullet about to be up. All heroics will be up for our teams.
Yeah, Hammer coming in now as well. As Ops, of course, also with the Giant Killer now on level 16, and that's especially a problem for Robadoba, as he can already experience firsthand here. Billy in the back, the bullet comes out, but the Lightning Breath takes Greymane apart. He's the first one to fall, and of course the turnaround attempt by the Zealots, but they need to be careful as Liquid is going for the next kill. They're trying for Zarmony, and they are about to get him. He goes down, Urel falls, Robadoba popping the Avatar and attempting to escape here, can jump to them, giving a bad spot up, not fight for it, and just realize, okay, this isn't going our way. But I miss the coordination when we're seeing engages and aggressive plays being happening. Robadoba with the Avatar here, they're trying to make a play, Lightning Breath being used, but here comes the Twilight Dream, and down goes Murden. He's the first one to fall. Quacknix also eats the full combo from Arcana. Zarmony trying to jump out, is still on the sacred ground, but is just simply not able to evade that.
I don't know if we'll be able to get 20 here. Zealots are able to start grabbing points. Orpheus is delaying as long as he can.
Zealots haven't found a kill yet, and they need to make that happen soon. Here comes the Earthquake, a Thrall goes in, Eternal Low, Temporal Loop against Chris, and he's nearly taken out here. The Dragon's Breath is about to drop him. He gets the arrow off, but that's not enough. Down he goes, and we see Li Ming fall as well. A double kill, making it a triple. Urel falls, and things are looking grim for Zealots. Team Liquid is on a hunt.
Zealots feeling like they had to take that fight or they would lose the game. I feel like you can make a case for it definitely too with 20 hitting. Shad trying to stay alive as long as he can. With some damage coming out for the Protector. Team Liquid is able to push S5 to the bottom lane. Regular grab the Ika
being an option. And this is going to be where it becomes interesting, because this is a fight that Zealots really want to win. Sport Billy already has to pop Avatar really early. That might even not be enough. Robadoba comes in from the side, gets the stun off, and that's the kill against Murden. Puts him back into a bad spot. And I mean, the one thing that really goes for the Zealots is that the death timers are now, of course, increasing. If they can get the kill here, and they do. Nice Twilight Dream by Malfurion. Heresy is down. They save Shadi. Ice blocks, but Arcana comes in from the side. Can he get the kill, though? The bunker is there. Saves him for now. The 5 versus 4. Shad might fall, but they get the kill against Genji.
They get the kills. Zealots, however, continue to move forward. Only tanks here left with Hazawabs. They're and Sport Billy need to retreat. At least they're able to pick off Shab with him.
Hazawabs, and they're trying to move in. They need to step up now. It's a 5 versus 4. You need to take something out of it. They're trying to look for the second kill. Genji is nearly down, and they cannot go for Norok. Genji is fallen, and Norok is dying too. Zealots are in a prime position now. And they're trying to make sure that Chris survives here. Robadoba creating some space for the team. Arcana seeing if he maybe can jump back into that back line, but so far it's not happening. And here comes the Salvo and the Lightning Breath combo.
Arcana deflects most of it though, goes for the X-Strike 2, trying to stay alive. Here, Sport Billy goes for the Storm Bolt, will hit both the tanks.
Quack is back.
Is low, deflect comes out. Quack is back, as you mentioned. Arcana gets reset on. There's 2 resets. A third might be coming off for Hondo in the back left. He takes the damage, gets knocked away. Quack is able to find one more reset. He goes for another, and they get the kill. Zealots are able to push forward and take this core as they wipe 4.
Zealots absolutely wreck Liquid in that last engagement. Might be able to defend against this. There's a double entomb, but Bunker is still available. It doesn't even have to be used. The arrow hits Hazorbs. The follow-up is there, and that might be the kill against Phoenix again.
Salvo comes out, Ring of Frost in the back, and there's the kill on Phoenix. As you mentioned, Arcana comes over, but it might be too late. You're all getting focused down. He gets the Ice Bomb to stay alive, but the Blizzard should be able to finish it up. Ice Lance comes in as well.
They need to
Quack
retreat.
gets 2.
Value that sustain so much that they go for Tranquility. Are we going to see the Twilight Dream? Dream is taken. They go for Eternal, and just as the Bunker comes down, the Dream is being used. It misses, and it ends up with a double kill against the Zealots.
Stormbolt comes out too. The Salvo hitting for Chris, but that